Good evening, YouTube. I'm coming toward the end of a wonderful day, a beautiful, nice day with marvelous weather, perfect temperature. It got up to about 75 degrees today. Started out 65 and got up to 75, and and then we had a nice little shower that lasted for an hour, and it just refreshed everything, cooled things back down, kept them from getting up too hot. And it just ended up just exactly the right temperature all day, and uh, and it's just amazing how a little shower will refresh things and make things just seem so wonderful, and just makes the flowers and all look better, and the day go better and everything. And but it's just so much more marvelous to realize how refreshed we can get from the ideas that we can gain just by turning the infinite mind, just by turning to the infinite mind, which is always there with us. It's always the infinite mind, and it's one of the things I had to grow into and learn as I got to as the years go by. I would accidentally come upon infinite mind at certain times, and I'd feel greatly refreshed and just feel power and energy and everything from the thoughts I'd receive. But then I would get my mind on other things, on negativity or problems, and then I would lose my energy. And it took a few years to understand that if by keeping my thoughts on infinite mind, my energy would just would begin to just keep increasing and keep increasing, keep building. And as long as I kept my mind on infinite mind, well, the energy would just get greater and greater and greater. And so we've got to control those negative thoughts and those things that get our minds off of the true nature which is within us, which is infinite mind. Our true nature is immortality. Our true nature is infinite. And we have to keep our mind upon that. There's actually no interruption in, you may have worries and fears tonight. I should ask, what are your anxieties and your fears tonight? And what are your feelings of limitation, and what are your dreams which you have, which are not coming, uh, don't seem to be coming about as fast as they should? Well, there's no interruption really in all abundance, and there's no real interruption in all good. And so, where does these problems come from? They come from us getting our minds off of the real abundance and the real ideals of God and the real ideals of infinite mind. Uh, Infinite mind is flowing these ideals of abundance and flowing these ideals of infinity and flowing these ideals of immortality. It's a great big river full of power and strength and energy, which starts at one end of eternity and goes to the other end of eternity and flows with a mighty strong current from one end of eternity to the other end of eternity. And there's never any interruption anywhere in there. It's wider than the Mississippi. Wide, I don't know why I thought Mississippi, but wider than any river on the face of the earth, Amazon or anything else. It's a great wide river, and the currents are stronger than any currents that you've ever seen. And there's never any eruption either in the water or the currents or the strength or the power of it. Never any interruption. And so we can go to the banks of that river and jump in, and we'll never have any interruption in our abundance and our ideas of energy and our realization of immortality. But we can also come back over and climb back out and go back into our negative thinking of the world. Come up back up on the banks of negativity and fear and doubt. And when we do that, then we'll say, well, there's an interruption in my energy. There's an interruption in my health. There's an interruption in my abundance. Why is that? And forgetting that we have gotten out of the river, that we've jumped out through our own thinking. And so whatever the anxieties or the fears that you have, there's no interruption really in energy. There's no interruption in health and healing power, and there's no interruption in wealth and substance. All of these are just flowing from one end of the eternity to the other, continually out of God and out of infinite mind and supreme, the great supreme being, which is whose substance fills the entire universe. And this substance is unified. You know, you've heard of the unity of good. God is good. That's where the word God come from. Was Good, good. God is infinitely good. And if good is infinite, then that means it is seamless, and that means anywhere you go, any galaxy that you go to, any planet in any other galaxy or any star that you go to, wherever you go, that good is always seamless. That river is always continuous, the river of good. And so the only place that river, in all by effect, it really is there, but by in effect, that river, the only place that river is not, is in our own thinking, in our own mind. That's the reason why Psalms 14:1, I believe it is, says, "The fool has said in his heart there is no God." Well, you know, it's not that so much that it's a fool, but it's that if you say there's no God, you're saying there's no good, and if you say there's no good, then that means you'll have less chance of experiencing good than if you say that there is infinite good. You're going to experience more good if you realize that good is infinite. And so in that sense, you know, it's a rather foolish thing to, you know, you could be, it doesn't mean you're foolish. You could be extremely intelligent. You could have 5 PhDs and all this. And so you're not a fool, but you're foolish because if you deny good, then good's going to be, is going to deny you. And so, you know, we deny good, good's going to deny us. So the thing for us to do is to continue to talk up good, and continue to get in that river of good, and spend time. Like, you know, the past few weeks I've been spending time, several hours a day, going over these affirmations because I wanted to put them up on the YouTube to help everybody else. I've got hundreds of notebooks full of all kinds of affirmations of wonderful, beautiful things different mind has given me, but I will put them up in the shelves and all, and sometimes I forget about them for several days or weeks and do other things, and then I'll come back and review them. And so, but these past few weeks it's been uninterrupted, and so that's why my energy has just multiplied. I mean, my energy has just compounded and just multiplied and multiplied and multiplied until I just feel like I could just fly through space now, and that has happened because I have spent time in that river making those affirmations. And so we have to take an active part in our own energy. And we have to decide, I will have energy, and I will declare energy, and I'll spend time on my affirmations to assure that these negative thoughts do not take precedence. We have to displace the negative thoughts, and they don't displace by themselves. The negative thoughts are not going to float out or be displaced or be replaced by anything other than replacing them and displacing them by a stronger positive thought. And so that means we have to take action to feed stronger positive thoughts into our mind every day than those negative thoughts which we're trying to displace. And we have to let it build. You know, it's just like what they say about vitamins. You take a jar of vitamins, 60 tablets, and then you take one vitamin and say, well, it didn't do any good, so I won't take no more. Well, you know, it doesn't work that way. It has to build up over a period of several months. And this is the same way with making these affirmations. You can make one affirmation and say, well, that doesn't do any good. Well, I claim that I'm immortal, and I claim that all good is present with me, and I don't see all good with me, and I don't feel immortal. Okay, so that's no good. Well, no, you have to give that time to build up, and you have to give that time to displace and replace all of those negative thoughts which are pulling you down. And so we have to quit damming up that river with negative thoughts and with false fears and superstitions. The world is full of superstitions, and there's what's called mass consciousness, and you talk about superstition. I mean, the mass consciousness is overwhelmingly superstitious about so many things. It's just not even it's not even worthy of even comparing to all the good which really exists. And we've got to get out of that mass consciousness and out of those superstitions and fears and realize that we are immortal. And I mean, people may say that they believe in immortality, but by the things that they do and the way they live and the happiness and the amount of happiness they have and the amount of joy they actually have and the amount of energy they actually have and the amount of creativity they actually have, it denies that they really believe in it. It shows that they don't, and we realize that we don't. And so we have to come back to that river of that is continually flowing, always flowing with strong current. And in that river is every healing thought and every healing power and every creative thought and every thought of substance and every thought of wealth and health and every bit of wealth, every wealth producing ideal, every ideal to invent things, everything that was invented from the automobile to the light bulb to the tape recorders to the phonograph and everything else, those were flowing continuously in that river from the beginning of time to the end of time. And some man went to that river, got in it, and pulled out those ideas and put them into form. We've got to do that. If we want wealth in our life, we've got to get in that river and begin to pull out those wealth ideas that are flowing, and they are. They're flowing. They have been flowing from the time from the infinite past, and they will be flowing to the infinite future. They'll be so it'll only be waiting until the right man comes along that gets in that river and pulls out those wealth ideas, and then he'll receive the idea that he needs to become wealthy. And our health waits on us to go to that river, pull out those ideas of health, which are just continually, just massively flowing, just to every idea that you need of health and every idea of energy, everything that you need to perk yourself up completely, everything you need to feed every cell in your body with power and strength, every cell that you need to energize your mind. Every iota of energy you need, every photon of light that you need to hit your mind and energize your mind. It's all flowing in that river, and all you got to do is get in it. And it's flowing without interruption. You need to remember that as your main affirmation. There's no interruption in good, and good is seamless. Okay, love is seamless, joy is seamless, good is seamless, and health is seamless. All those things have no seam. You can go as far back as you want to go in eternity, and then you can go as far in the future as you want to, and nowhere in between there is any seam where there is an interruption or there's a point where it had to be sewed together, or where there was even a stitch in between there, or a breakage or a fissure, even the smallest fissure in between there. It's continually seamless. There's all eternal and infinite good, and eternal infinite joy, and eternal infinite peace and happiness, and health, and all those things. It's only our degree of going to that river and getting into it. That's why John 7:38 says, "He that cometh unto me, out of his innermost being will flow rivers of living water." And he was the way, the truth, and the life. He's the light, the light of the world, as he said, because he became the Word and demonstrated the infinite mind, and by all those things that he did, and he's the way, the truth, and the life. And so, by coming to that way and that truth and that life, which is that river that declares immortality. So then coming to immortality and coming to realize we are immortal and coming to that river of health and coming to all those things causes that river to flow out of us, and causes first of all, causes us to get in that river, and then it causes that river to flow out of us. And we're able to flow that river out into the world and heal people and cause marvelous things to happen. And so I'll have to say goodbye for this evening, but I hope you'll get in that rivers stay there and get all your abundance that you need.